He held his wife tightly in his arms. Luckily, the cage was strong enough to keep them safe. It's almost Christmas Day. People were finally reunited with their children. There was singing and dancing and smiles on everyone's faces. But one of Mark's colleagues couldn't be happier. The night before, a bomb had silently taken his son. Mark apologized. I don't know how long it took, but as the sun rose, the war was over. The family resumed their quiet life. But that day, a police car pulled up in front of the house. The boy had been caught stealing. Luckily, the police only gave him a verbal warning. Annie couldn't believe her son was stealing. She gave him a hard time, though their lives were seldom easy along the way. But in the 10 years since the war, the bond between them has not diminished. In his spare time, Mark would always take Annie to enjoy their time together. But late at night, they worried about the future of their children. The boy had gone to university. He had long hair and there was even a girl waiting for him at the door. The two of them watched, but in their hearts, they thought they'd meet the girl's parents if they had the chance. But then a letter came along that threw all their plans out of whack. The boy was about to be drafted into the Royal Regiment. They were sad to see him go, but they were proud. So for the rest of their lives, they went to the newly installed telephone and waited for their son to call. They waited for 3 years. The years had turned them gray at the temples, and Mark always had a surprise for Annie. He'd secretly bought a car, so they went for a drive in the countryside. And to top it all off, they got a letter from their son. It said he was coming home from the army, but they couldn't have guessed that there was a girl with him. Though she was slim, Annie didn't seem to like it. But Annie's desire to have a grandchild overcame that dissatisfaction. So one day Annie asked her son what they were going to do about having children. But the son said they couldn't have children because her wife was schizophrenic. But bad luck didn't stop there. One day they were watching TV. But then, out of the blue, Annie asked her husband who he was. Annie was sick. Mark took her to the hospital for treatment. It turned out to be Alzheimer's. As Annie talked to her son, she couldn't remember what day Christmas was. Looking at Annie's condition, Mark turned away and left the hospital room, wiping away her tears. In order to refresh Annie's memory, Mark took her to the place where they first met. The cafe was in a state of disrepair until now, and had never been able to sit in it. Mark wanted to take his wife out more often, but that night, the hospital called out of the blue. When the call was over, it was as if Mark had used all his strength to put the phone down. His wife, who had been with him all his life, was gone. Father and son were in pain. In the days that followed, Mark was alone in the big room. He always had 2 sets of cutlery for dinner, perhaps in his mind, and had never really left. And the one left behind was the one who suffered the most when one of them left first. That day, Mark was reading the newspaper when he felt a sharp pain in his body. But there was only one black cat in the house to look at him. It wasn't long before Mark followed Annie, and they ended their lives happily ever after. Annie was actually 5 years older than Mark, but Mark always treated her like a child. He always had surprises in store for her. When Annie was sad, Mark would give her a hug, and Annie took good care of the family. She never minded Mark's low income. They were together all their lives. They've been through a lot of hard times and hardships with each other. That's the best thing about marriage. Whether you're poor or rich, whether you're old or sick or dead, I'll always love you.